Ну, это может связано с воспитанием, скорее всего, то, что традиции семьи, у меня в семье никто не разговаривает, поэтому и так вот завелось.
Я розмовляю по-белорусски, амаль толькі на парах по беларускай мове.
А кто у нас? У нас никто не разговаривает по-белорусскому вообще.
Ну, калі б дзяржава рабіла шмат для папулярызацыі, я б размаўляў больш свабодна на беларускай мове.
А вы вообще что-то не по-русски разговариваете.
Мы ж
Вы
беларусы.
какие-то террористы.
Чего по-русски, плиз?
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I will try to answer the question that probably the majority of foreigners ask themselves when they come to Belarus. Why don't Belarusians speak Belarusian? In order to answer this question, we need to go back to the history and try to understand how the process of Russification of Belarus really took place. In the past, Belarus was a part of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, and the Grand Duchy of Lithuania itself was a part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. This Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth ceased to exist at the end of the 18th century. And the majority of Belarusian, well, not actually the majority, but entire Belarusian land appeared to be part of the Russian Empire. After Belarus became part of the Russian Empire, Catherine II, that was the Empress of Russia at that time, signed a law according to which all of the governors that were placed in Belarus were forced and obliged to write all their documents exclusively in Russian. Though the process of Russification was pretty slow before the uprising of 1831-1832. After this, the Russian Tsar Nikolai I signed a law according to which all the official documents must be written exclusively Russian, whether it's in the governmental sphere or in judicial sphere. Besides this, Nikolai I encouraged to relocate Russian officials to the Belarusian land. That will bring their language, customs, and adherence to the Russian Tsarist rule in this land. Approximately at the same time, the Union Church, which the majority of Belarusians were part of, was eliminated, and all these Union Belarusians were forced to become a part of the Moscow Orthodox Church. After the second rebellion of 1864, the policy of Russification has become even stronger, and this policy was formulated by the Russian General Governor Muravyev. That was called Muravyev the Hanner. His formula was very simple. What wasn't done by the Russian soldier will be done by the Russian official, Russian school, and Russian church. And according to this formula, there was created a huge number of schools that existed in churches. In these churches, children were brought up in the spirit of extreme loyalty to the Russian Tsarist rule and to the Russian Orthodoxy. What concerns the educational system, all the universities that existed prior to the Russian Tsarist rule were shut down, including the Vilnius University, Polotsk Jesuit Collegium, and others. And instead of them, the number of universities that was established was not really high. Nevertheless, they found a couple of teachers' seminaries. But in these teachers' seminaries, students were forbidden to speak Belarusian. The Belarusian language was ostracized and associated with illiteracy and ignorance. During the Tsarist rule, there wasn't any single school in the Belarusian language, and the Latin script of Belarusian was banned completely. And if you wanna publish in Cyrillic Belarusian, you have to mark that this is just a Western Russian dialect. But even the number of Russian schools in the Belarusian territory remained pretty low. And in 1897, according to the population census, the majority of Belarusian inhabitants called Belarusian their mother tongue. When Bolsheviks came to power, they understood that, well, if the policy of banning the Belarusian language doesn't work, probably we should marginalize it. And that was achieved by pursuing two goals. First, it's almost complete extermination of the Belarusian national intelligentsia. And second, all the higher and, well, even middle school education in the cities and towns, so in urban areas, was exclusively in Russian. At first, when Bolsheviks took over the power, there was even a short period of time when they even supported the Belarusian language. But then, when Stalin came to power, they showed their true face. And starting from the 1930s, all the universities were switched to exclusively Russian. In the same 1930s, which was called the period of the Great Terror, from 540 to 570 writers and poets that were published in Belarus in 1920s and 1930s, almost 80% were repressed. In 1959, the member of Central Committee of the Communist Party, Ekaterina Furtseva, sent a letter to the Belarusian Soviet government from Moscow to force all the schools in urban areas to switch into Russian. So all in all, it created a situation when Belarusians, while massively moving from villages to the urban areas, found out that in urban areas, all the subjects in schools are taught in Russian, all subjects in universities are taught in Russian. There are almost no educated people that speak Belarusian because they already been exterminated in the Stalin area. All the official documentation is in Russian, and many officials and people in the power are actually from Russia, and they do not understand Belarusian. So they started to think, well, that probably Belarusian is some rural peasants' redneck language, and in order to become educated and civilized, they need to start to speak Russian. So by the time when the Soviet Union collapsed, the majority of Belarusians were already Russified. Nevertheless, there was a short period of time when the Belarusian language became the only official language in Belarus. It was from 1991 till the referendum, well, I'll say the so-called referendum in 1996, according to which Russian has also become the second official language. But in practice, it meant that the policy that was conducted by the Soviet authorities came back to life, and again, all the urban schools, all the universities were switched to Russian again. And official documentation was also in Russian, and even the majority of laws and codes were published exclusively in Russian, and there were not even the official Belarusian version of it. So that's it for this video, and now I'd like to ask you a question. Is it really so important for Belarusians to speak their own language? Please like, share, subscribe, and let's make this video go corona viral.